Hello everyone, no respawns here. Hope you're doing well, having a grand week and all of that. So, as promised at the end of the last video, in this video I want to do a few tips and tricks to make camp building a little bit easier in Fallout 76. I have done one of these in the past, however that was like a year ago, and obviously with Wastelanders we've got a load of new people and it's highly likely a lot of you, significantly most of you, haven't actually seen that video. So basically I'm just going to go through a few tips. I'm also going to quickly show you off my new camp. So in the last video we made a kind of seedy shack build and I've sort of extended on it. This is my main character, by the way, so this is the guy who doesn't tear his base down every week. However, he did tear this one down quite quickly. So before I had the contemporary house, which is very nice. The seedy shack, look, it just looks blends and it looks so cool. I'm also right here. Highly recommend this area because it's a Graham spawning point. So if you hang around your base, you'll often see Graham just wander by and you can grab all of his wares. Right, so the first one is using basic blueprints for fun and success. So blueprints are very handy. Oddly enough, not very handy for what they're intended for, which is placing down pre-built bases, because there are too many restrictions and you don't have actually much build limit. However, they're really, really good for placing stuff next to each other. And now this can work with anything. So, for example, I've got one for one of these. I was playing around earlier, so this enables me to push this slightly closer to the interior of one of my houses. However, the biggest thing it's for is food. So, potatoes are actually pretty decent, but corn is a nightmare, as many of you know, to place next to each other. You can, like, basically fit maybe 5 on here, 6 if you really struggle, but it's a bit of a ball ache. So what you can actually do is use blueprints to place things next to each other. So I like these planters, by the way, when you're doing this. Whenever you're making a blueprint, pre-place a floor, because that way the ground is completely flat. But incidentally, these planters are really handy, so we're actually going to do a thing. Right, so see, I've got these. You might have to fill in with how close they are together. Right, so I've got those 2 pieces of corn. Now I'm going to make a blueprint. I'm going to delete my old ones, actually. I'm going to get rid of them. And now I'm going to place 1 piece of corn down. Must be food gone. There it is. So, place my corn down where it's going to start. Then go to my blueprints. Find the corn one. I've got too many of these. One sec. Oh, no, don't delete that one. And you might have to fiddle with it. Often it, like, one side is the side you can't do it. And as you can see, I can place them perfectly close to each other. Be warned with this because you can get a little bit carried away because this does obviously use up a lot of budget. So try and be smart about it in terms of placing stuff down. But you can just spend ages, and then you can effectively have a load of plants right next to each other. And because obviously now we've got a few planters, we've got these ones. If you pre-ordered the got the pre-order bonuses. Where's mine? I've got one somewhere. Did I forget to place it down? I'm sure I had a food plant around here somewhere. Oh, maybe this camp doesn't have any food in it. I should put some food in it. But I've got some in here, so for example, I've done it. Well, I haven't done it there, but I've done it with here. As you can see, that's the corn placed in what I would suggest is the kind of. I don't think I actually have enough corn, do I? No, I need like 17 corn. So yeah, bear in mind. But I can actually place that, and it's fine. You can make them for quite a few things. I think I've only got like 4 or 5. I think I've got like 11 corn. But yeah, basically you can then make a blueprint. And now, when obviously I've gone and gathered. Oh no, actually it was fine. Oh, okay, cool. There we go. So voila, and I now can place a blueprint down with loads of corn. I had quite a few actually, I think. There we go. See, there's one with razor grain as well. I haven't actually used the technique on the razor grain in that one. Right, so that is very handy. Right, so next. So I've mentioned this one a few times, but it's just cool and useful. Which is using this one. I think I've shown this in about 4 videos now, but as many of you will be watching this video for the first time. So you see these ones here, I can't place them down. And it's a whole thing. It's really annoying because they look really, really nice. I actually like turning them into little doorways. They look quite cool like that. But they do snap to these, so I can place these down like this. And I can place I think it's because that build area is just really shit. The road is... Here's nice. Here's a big flat piece of ground here. We'll do it about here, actually. There we go. So that looks, you know... The problem is maybe I don't want a staircase there. But I can't take that off, right? Isn't that annoying? Move it, because apparently the stupid thing is not being nice. Let's just move it over here. I had to pick the one area that I couldn't bloody well place anything. Lovely, brilliant, love it. Place you down. Place you down. Now, I posted a second one at the end, right? I can take that one off and do it like that. So now I have one of those freestanding, and then I can just snap one of these onto it. The reason why that's really nice is for example, I've done this quite a couple of builds now, is you can do things like make quite nice, like, gateways. So for example, here's the tires, right? And I'm making like a... Put the tires on each side. I've done it before, like, not too much nicer. But then suddenly I've got, like, a nice little gateway. Or, you know, for whatever reason. But that way you can place those down and have them freestanding without having to worry about having staircases on them. People mentioned this in my comments. I did know about it. I've never used it before. But you can actually snap walls to these things as well. I believe it's these ones. I think it's maybe a certain side. Oh, no, it's barricades, isn't it? You can snap barricades to it. Where are my barricades? There we go. So you can snap barricades to these as well, which is easy to know. It looks quite nice. So, yes. Right. Now, the next one is building down. Building down is quite handy. So, one thing about the building in Fallout 76 is that it's very dependent on build order. I'm going to build that way. So what I mean to say is that you can often do things that you don't realise you can do if you do them in a different order. A great example is, so I can't place walls down like that. So what if I don't want a foundation? Now, obviously, the ground I've chosen, this is about as flat as I'm going to get it. Because all the flat ground's over there and I'm not tearing down my tearing down my base. But basically, I can't place these down on their own. But what I can do is I can build downwards and remove stuff. Similar how I just did there, where I removed bits off. And then built and then removed the earlier bits off, but it has to be done a certain way, and I've obviously probably gathered already. I've spent an inordinate amount of time playing around with this stuff. So let's build down. Right, so we're just going to build. We're just going to, for a demonstration, we're just going to make a little house. We're going to plug the thing, and there's a doorway. Let's floating a little bit. That's why. Oh no, it's my build budget. It's maxed out. Very nice, very good. Brilliant. Good timing. So I told you about corn. It's nightmarish. Oh yeah, that's because I placed down a million corn. So yeah, whenever you're making a YouTube video and you're demonstrating these glitches, make sure to not place down your massive corn planter. Right, so go back to the walls again. Right, lovely. Oh, very, very nice. What an amazing build. Love it. Love it. Beautiful. Right, here. Voila. Now, obviously, that is an ugly as hell structure, right? I'm very well aware of this. However, this is a very useful if you want to build on things. A great example of this is over here somewhere. It's around here. I always forget the exact place. I did a scrap camp on top of a pre-existing structure, and to do that I had to actually basically build downwards. Being able to build downwards is a thing I want to start using a lot more, because you can really play around with it. And yeah, it's a handy thing to know. But basically what you've got to do is you've got to basically, certain things can be removed from other stuff and certain things can't. So for example, I wouldn't be able to remove that floor from the stairs. Like the stairs from the floor. So if I had it like... Oh, yeah, no, I can't. Oh, this is also an interesting way where you can actually have floors as roofs as well. So that's actually quite handy to know as well. So yes, building down, very, very handy. What else? So I'm quickly going to show you switches and power as well. It's more just how to make... I've shown this before, but this is how to make a two-way switch. I don't use these very often, to be utterly honest, because they're a bit of a ball ache and kind of headache-inducing. But they are quite, admittedly, nice when you've got something. Let's see if I can remember how to do this first time. So doorways can get a little bit confusing. Let's go and go all the way down here to a powered door with 2 switches. So, voila. Oh, wait, no, I don't want to use that powered door. I want one with a switch. I want the switch door. Thank you. Right. Now, the way this works is when this door is closed from the inside, the power is going to be off. When it's from the outside, the power is on. Right. I might actually do a series of these little tips videos because there's so many little things I can show, and it's always kind of like, right, well, which ones do I... I'll move that way, actually. Which ones do I show? Right. Let's get a generator. Best generator. Pick this one up. I have no idea if it's still on the Atom Store or not, but get it because it's so good. Right, so. Cool. Do you want 2 switches? So when I'm inside, I'm going to switch power off to the door. So I'm going to have... I'm just going to use pylons for a sec, just because it's a bit easier to demonstrate exactly what I'm doing. Pylon there. To the power. Good work. Great start. Why are you not... That's random. Cheers for that. Right, so now that goes to there. Right, so that's now powering that switch. And to that. It's a bit weird with that. I don't know why it's having a little bit of a balmy one with the old... Right, now that's going to there. I'm going to probably have to have another one here just so it's going to there. And over here. I'm doing this like deliberately wide so you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. Right, okay. So this is me coming on the outside. Door is closed. Open sesame. And I'm inside. And now the door's closed. Right? 2-way switch. Happy. Happy. It is very, very good. Right, now, what am I doing? Now, if I go and open it like this, and I do this like this, I can't actually get in from the outside. The reason being is because I'm turning the power off. So it goes from the off switch, which you want on the inside of your interior, where your base, the inside of your base. That needs to go, be linked to the power, right? So that goes from the power. Then that switch, effectively, to cut it down in a really simple way, that switch is connected to the power. Then that switch connects to that switch in whatever obnoxious, long-winded way you like. And then that switch connects to the actual doorway. And that's just it. And what that means is whenever that switch is turned off, it switches the entire thing off. But when that one's switched off, this one is still on, and it's fine. And that is how you make a 2-way powered door. So yeah, so kind of to summarize, blueprints are really handy. You can use that technique to push things very, very close together. It's very, very cool. You can build downwards and effectively have structures without foundations. And it's very, very handy if you want to build on. As a great example, there are a few pre-existing structures that have, like, metal floors that you wouldn't normally be able to put foundations on, but you can kind of get around it, and you can make some really unique ideas. So it's something I'm determined to play around with a little more. I just haven't found as many opportunities as I'd like to do so. Those perimeter walls are really, really cool. And I highly recommend those kind of like those balconies. But as said, you do need to obviously place the stairs down and then another one. And so on and so on. I've placed a little bit of thing. And then finally as well, the old 2-way doors. So wait, I hope those little tips were handy. As I said, it's quite I was trying to show you 4 things, not overload you with information, but also show you some of the most useful ones that I make best use of. I do need to probably start having a power. It would be nice if we could have a powered door that was just a door, rather than necessarily like an actual wall I need to snap on. But I mean, you know, we can wish. Anyway, as always, follow me on Twitter at norespawns. I will have, I'll try and do a few more of these tips videos. Tips videos with Fallout 76 are a little bit erratic because I'm trying to kind of collect a few good ideas together. So if you've got any other weird little techniques that you like to use, let me know. I might eventually, if I find a few good ones which I don't know about, I might collect them into another video. And we can kind of make a little bit of a series on this. But yeah, hope you find that handy. And as always, you guys have a grand week. You take care.